One Africa, one nation. Ooh, that's what it's about. We want to welcome you here to Aquaba Hall in the city of St. Louis. These are the Sunday rallies. They're brought to you by the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. And today our theme is Don't Agonize, Organize, Mobilize DC for the Black People's March on the White House. This is the annual event that is hosted by the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace and Reparations. It's been going on for 17 years. It's an organization, a collective of more than 17 organizations that Chairman Omali Yeshitela founded. And as we know, Chairman Omali Yeshitela is the leader of the Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party. And we want to give it up for Chairman Omali Yeshitela, if you please. Uhuru leadership has been leading the struggle for more than 50 years. So we plan on having a dynamic program for you today. So if you're in the city of St. Louis, especially online, we are at 4101 West Florissant. We're right here on the corner of West Florissant and Alice. We'll be here from 3 to 5, and we appreciate you online and those who are in attendance in person. So before we go into our program any further and talk about what is this Don't Agonize and Organize for the Black is Back Coalition March on Washington, D.C., we're going to begin our program as we do always with the African Nation Fight Song. We're going to ask you to please stand and join in. Those of you online in attendance, you'll see the words to the lyrics are on the board. Once again, the African Nation Fight Song. Uhuru.
Shout Uhuru for our freedom. We are winning. We'll dance and sing songs when revolution's won. We are winning. Africa's best daughters and sons. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom through organization. Socialist world of creation. 1 billion strong. Patrice Lumumba's life won't be in vain. We are winning. Keep up the work in Marcus Garvey's name. We are winning. Independent and free is what we will be. We are winning. Africa will bask in our victory. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom to organization. Socialist world, our creation. 1 billion strong, yes, we are one. We are
Touch one. Ease relay two. Clean Africa. All right, comrades, we're going to move forward with our program and we're going into the political education. And this week's political education is the 14th point of the 14-point platforms of the African People's Socialist Party. And it's going to be switched up and changed around a little bit for you today. But we're going to have our brother, comrade, local president of InPDUM, comrade Westbrook, come up and begin the political education for us. Uhuru. Fist up. Fist up. Ease relay two. Freak up.
Uhuru. Once again, like he said, I want to reiterate, we're dealing with the 14-point platform. So let's give a round of applause for y'all. So get it through the platform, but we're gonna start off by saying we want the total liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African socialist government. Once again, we want the total liberation and unification of an African under an all-African socialist government. We believe that the total liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African socialist government must be a primary objective for all Black revolutionaries throughout the world. It is an objective which, when achieved, will bring about the fulfillment of an aspiration of African people, Africans and its people of African descent everywhere we are located. It will at the same time advance the triumph of the international socialist revolution and the onward progress towards communism, under which every society is ordered on the principle of from each according to his ability, to each according to his need. Speaking of Kwame Nkrumah, we want to roll a clip from the late great Nkrumah. Uhuru.
Fellow freedom fighters, comrades and friends, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Accra and to this conference of African freedom fighters and supporters of the growing movement for Africa's liberation and unity. It is good for our cause to have a periodic meeting of this kind to examine our position in the great struggle to rid Africa completely and forever of imperialism and its handmaidens, colonialism and neocolonialism. Africa is rich and not poor. As the great wealth that has been taken out of our continent over 5 centuries of spoliation and extortion very well proves. Africa has immense actual and potential wealth: gold, diamond, copper, manganese, bauxite, iron ore, uranium, asbestos, chrome, cobalt, a host of other minerals. Our essential agricultural produce have all been drained away by colonialist imperialism. Africa is far from being poor. It is Africans who are poor, not Africa. And they are poor because of the uncounted profit that has been made out of the exploitation of their labor and their lands. If we are being baited to enter a European community, we must have something that community needs, and needs badly, when it pretends to offer a bonus by way of aid. When Greeks come bearing grapes, should we not look them well in the mouth, if I may mix my metaphor? But I'm sure you get my meaning. I raise this point so that it will stay in your minds when you may be tempted by the seductive promises of neocolonialism to forget the real character of colonialist imperialism and be persuaded away from your own true interests and those of Africa. For today, we must each see ourselves as part of Africa in order that we may face colonialist imperialism and its new form, neocolonialism, on a continent-wide front. This requires some plain speaking. And for the sake of Africa, let us speak plainly. As I see it, our greatest danger stems from disunity and the inability to see that the realization of our hopes and aspirations, the realization of our objective of total African independence, and of our future progress and prosperity is inextricably bound up with the necessity to unify our policy and actions in connection with the continued struggle for independence and the greater task of economic and social reconstruction beyond it. We must therefore face the issue of African unity now, for only unity will make the artificial boundaries and regional demarcations imposed by colonialism obsolete and superfluous. African unity will thus provide an effective remedy for border disputes and internecine troubles. In a united Africa, there could be no frontier claims between Ethiopia and Somalia, or between Zanzibar and Kenya, Guinea or Liberia, or between Ghana, Togoland, and the Ivory Coast. Because we would regard ourselves as one great continental family of nations. Some of the leaders, it must be confessed, do not see the struggle of their brother Africans as part of their own struggle. Even if they did, they would not be free to express their solidarity. These rifts are consciously created by the imperialists between Africans, where they can sit back and watch with sly satisfaction, as well as contempt for those who fail to see how they are being used against Africa's best interests. Regrettably, those states include some who were among the freedom fighters of yesterday and who haven't won their independence, are willing to drop it for some token aid, and thereby deny to those still struggling for freedom even their moral support. Here is a phenomenon against which all African freedom fighters must be on their guard and resist to the utmost. Even though I appreciate the difficulties facing us, I must admit, I find it strange to watch some of us returning willingly to the colonialist fold. This time, they don't even have the excuse of being forced to subject themselves to foreign domination. It makes one wonder, why so much effort and sacrifice and so many lives were given up to the achievement of independence in the first place, if it can only be so quickly and easily surrendered. We must begin to build immediately our own continental common market. For it is easy for anyone who studies the common market organization closely to realize that the common market is aimed at harnessing the African countries to satisfy the profit lust of the imperialist bloc and to prevent us from following an independent neutralist policy. It is easy to see that the imperialists and the colonialists are determined to retain the African countries in the position of suppliers of cheap raw materials. If we do not resist this threat, and if we throw in our lot with the common market, we shall doom the economy of Africa to a state of perpetual subjection to the economy of Western Europe. This will, of course, hinder the industrialization of our young African states. It is impossible to think of economic development and national independence without possessing an unfettered capacity for maintaining a strong industrial power. The activities of the common market are therefore fraught with dangerous political and economic consequences for the independent African states. The organization constitutes an attempt to replace the old system of colonial exploitation by a new system of collective colonialism, which will be stronger and more dangerous than the old evils we are striving to liquidate from our continent. This is another reason why we should come together in a unified African economic plan, which, operating on a continental scale, can make a solid attack on the imperialist domination in Africa. We should, without delay, aim at the creation of a joint African military command. There is little wisdom in our present separate effort to build up and maintain defense forces, which, in any case, would be ineffective in a major world conflict. If we examine this problem realistically, we would ask, which single African state could protect itself against an imperialist aggressor? And how much more difficult this would be when some states are allowing the imperialists to maintain bases on their territories. I have already referred to the military forces which South Africa is raising and the danger it poses for the new African states and the struggle of those still in chains. Only our unity can provide us with anything like adequate protection. Those problems can best be met within a unified Africa, and it should be possible in the higher reaches of our endeavor to devise a constitutional structure which will secure the objectives I have outlined, and yet preserve the sovereignty of each of the countries joining the Union. Countries within the Union will naturally maintain their own constitutions, continue to use their own national emblems and national anthems and other symbols and paraphernalia of sovereignty. Regional associations and territorial groupings can only be other forms of balkanization unless they are conceived within the framework of a continental union. there are existing models which we can modify or adapt to our pattern. The United States of America, the Soviet Union, India and China have proved the efficacy of unions embracing large stretches of land and population. Long live African freedom fighters. Long live African independence. Long live your struggle. And long live African unity.
And share this video with friends and family.
One Africa! That's what they're talking about, right? One Africa, one nation, right?
Yeah.
That's the founder there, right? This particular point comes from his words, not in that particular one, but that's Kwame Nkrumah, who talked about one Africa, one nation from the very beginning. And we can see that it stayed with us. Of course, we know that he got a little bit of from Marcus Garvey, a little bit from this one, a little bit from that one, and also seeing the realities on the ground. So it became obvious that the only path to African people's salvation is just one Africa and one nation, you understand? A unified Africa. That's what it's about. In this movement, we always talk about to what end. This is the ultimate to what end to the Uhuru movement. One Africa, united and socialist. Uhuru. So we got one more clip because we want to bring it home and we want to show how African internationalism is also mixed into this. So this next clip continues the theme. And the reason we're doing this is because it's political education. It's the last theme, last point, the 14th point, and we might not get to the 14th point again, but we will, but we may not get to it anytime soon. But we want to make sure that we drive it home. This is what we're talking about. This is the end game. The fact that we standing here in the Kwaba Hall is an example of that. You understand? The fact that we finna have a farm down the street is an example of that. You understand? The fact that we're gonna have a women's health clinic is all testament to that. It all plays together with one Africa. You understand? What one Africa means? It means that you build it on the ground where you are. You understand? And then you connect it to the continent of Africa. As the chairman will bring this home. Now, of course, this is a clip of chairman in 2009 when he was in Nairobi, Kenya, for those who don't know. And this talks to the continuation of that theme. And peep how he picks up. This is a clip. We took it. You wouldn't do all of the clip, but just peep how it transitioned into one Africa, one nation. Uhuru.
Kwame Nkrumah said one of the most important things he ever read was the book by Marcus Garvey that influenced him. And as you know, Nkrumah was the person who they also hated and feared because he understood the power of a united African people. And in 1966, after having led the struggle to free Ghana in 1966, he was overthrown by the United States government. That is why they hated and feared Patrice Lumumba from Congo. You've heard of Patrice Lumumba, who was an incredible leader, who stood up to the Belgians and stood up to the United States and stood up to the French and said the wealth and resources of the Congo should belong to the people of Congo. But even before most of this happened, an incredible movement was happening in this land base. And I'm calling it Kenya, but it is Africa, where Dedan Kimathi and the Kenyan Land Freedom Army stood up against the mighty British Army. You know, that wasn't a small thing, because the British, up until the Second Imperialist War, England controlled 45% of the world. 45%, I'm sorry, at least a quarter of the world's population and a quarter of the world's territory. You know what England is? It's a little rock, cold and barren without resources, which is part of what contributed to it becoming a thief, because it had nothing of its own. And so up until 1945, So England controls something like 25% of the surface of the planet Earth and 25% of the Earth's population. And the Kenyan Land Freedom Army stood up against the British Empire right here. And it was something that gave pride to and built the morale of African people around the world. How is it that you think that in North America today we come up with a slogan, Uhuru? We say Uhuru to you in Kenya because you said Uhuru first to us in North America. It's one struggle. It's one struggle. Otherwise, we couldn't have been excited about what the Kenyan Land Freedom Army was doing. It's one struggle. That's why in Paris, France, when they murdered Patrice Lumumba, the African students rebelled in the streets of France. It's one struggle. Didn't say we can't do anything because he's from the Congo. What they call the Congo now is something that was defined by the imperialists themselves. So we say we have to come out of this situation. So we have a situation where peoples around the world are trying to change this relationship they have with the empire. Someone asked, do you know what imperialism is? Imperialism is a word that comes from the word empire. Empire is a situation where one country lives off of other peoples around the world. They live off the expense of somebody else, not because of what they produce, but because of what they can take from other folk. So they call these empires. You heard of the Roman Empire, the British Empire. That's what empires are. And so this concept of imperialism is this tendency toward empires. Well, we don't want no empire. We just want our Africa back for ourselves. We just want our Africa back for ourselves. We want a situation where the resources of Africa and African people can go to feed our children. We don't give a damn if Margaret Thatcher or Queen Elizabeth ever see another chilling in their lives again, if it has to come at the expense of Africa and African people. We want our resources for our people. We feel like we have a responsibility so that our children can see a future. What kind of people is it that will not do whatever is necessary to guarantee a future for its children? If your children have no future, you have no destiny. It's over for you. And so that's what this is about. So what is happening is you look around the world, you say a system in crisis, because it's an international system. It's not a Kenyan system. It's not a British, it's an international system. That's why you see the troops in a place called Iraq. Why would they be killing people in Iraq? Because it's a parasitic world economy. They need the oil from Iraq to keep their factories running. They need the oil from Iraq to keep their automobiles running. They don't care about what happens to the Iraqi people, but the Iraqi people care. And so they're fighting back to take their resources. That's what's happening in occupied Palestine, where the Palestinian people are trying to take back their resources. That's what's happening in Venezuela under the leadership of Hugo Chavez, where the Venezuelans have stood up to America to take back their resources. That's what happened in Cuba. That's what's happening in Ecuador. That's what happened all around the world. People are struggling to take back their resources. And as they struggle to take back their resources, what is happening is economic crisis is all over the Western world. You want to know why there's crisis? Because it's a parasite. Are you familiar with tapeworms in a place like Kenya? You know what a tapeworm is, don't you? In North America, it used to be a pretty big problem, especially people eating all that old rotten meat, you know, because in that meat sometimes there hides this larva, and that will turn into a worm. And you eat that meat, and the larva attaches itself to your intestine. Doesn't do any work at all. You go out and work if you're lucky enough to have a job. You work and work. You buy food. You eat food. No matter how much you eat, you can't get any bigger. But the tapeworm doesn't do any work at all, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger of what you do. And that's how this whole system is. It's like a tapeworm. It's a parasite. It doesn't live off what it produces, it lives off what you produce. That's why you can't talk this tapeworm into being nice. You can't talk this system into changing its attitude. What will happen if the tapeworm ever freed your intestines? It would die. So you look at a social system that requires the servitude, the enslavement of African people for its continuing existence. Nevertheless, Africans have to be free. And so what you see around the world is people fighting for their freedom. Everybody is hating U.S. imperialism. They thought it was George W. Bush they hated. They say, we hate this Bush man, right? But Bush was not an individual. Bush was the head of the United States government. He was the head of the imperialist country. And it came to a situation where he was so hated. And because he created so much resistance of oppressed peoples around the world, Bush himself became a problem. And they had to have somebody else there who could stem the tide of resistance that was happening by dark people all around the world. And so they identified somebody who could stand in for imperialism. And Nkrumah called it neocolonialism. When the white man cannot stand up to you in his own skin, in his own face, it's called indirect rule. It is white power in a black face. And that is exactly what Barack Obama is today. They need him. They have begun to understand that they will not be able to subdue the masses of people around the world at gunpoint as George Bush attempted to do. So if they cannot subdue the people at gunpoint, they have decided to seduce the people into slavery. And so Barack Obama is the one who is supposed to seduce us into a stance of inactivity to keep us from resisting against our conditions of existence. We say we really need change we can believe in. And that is not Barack Obama, you see. So what is it that we need? We need each other, because we are powerless without each other. Our weakness is based on the fact that they have separated us from each other, and they have separated us from our assets here, our resources here in Africa and elsewhere. In order for us to strengthen ourselves, we have to come together. If we come together, you look at a place like China. China, more than 1 billion people, but China hasn't half the resources that Africa has. But China is the fastest growing economy in the world. China is the fastest growing economic force in Africa today. Why? Because when Europe deals with China, it deals with one China. When England deals with China, it deals with one China. When France deals with China, it deals with one China. When the United States deals with China, it deals with one China. But when they deal with Africa, they deal with 54 different Africas. And because they can deal with 54 different so-called Africas, they misuse us. They play us one against the other. It does not allow us to work at full strength. There are 1.5 billion Africans in the world. And yet we are proud because we're supposed to be a nation in a place like Equatorial Guinea of 1 million people. What kind of nation is that? Did you know that in what they call sub-Saharan Africa, that 35 of the 45 so-called African countries have 10 million or less people in them? Because that's how the colonizers designed it. We say the borders that separate us have to go. Both the borders in Africa and the borders in our brains that keep us from being able to recognize each other as one African people. So this is a movement that we are determined to build. We need leadership. I heard Comrade Cherno talk about the question of leadership. That's what we're about. Create organization everywhere in the African world. We're talking about everywhere. So that if you are hurt in Kenya, I will feel your pain in the United States and respond to it. And if I
Africa is ours and we want all of it. That's why we must kick these imperialistic bastards out of our country. Uhuru, we must have a total, liberated, and unified country. Uhuru, the primary objective of Black revolutionaries is to stay out of the door. Uhuru.
Stay out of the door.
You got to be okay. There we go. But the primary objective of Black revolutionaries around the world must be the total liberation of Africa and its liberation and unification under an all-African socialist government. When this is achieved, it will fulfill the aspirations of African people around the world, what we just heard from Chairman and Kwame. The total liberation of an Africa will also advance the international socialist revolutionary platform and throw it forward. I'm sorry, where my water at? No. Okay. But we're going to get into these questions, if that's cool.
Yes.
Because we got a dynamic agenda in front of us, and we don't want to hold you any further. But the primary objective of all revolutionaries throughout the world is A, the creation of a new African nation in the Black Belt South. B, a multinational national worker state. C, the liberation and unification of Africa under an Africa socialist government. Or D, to create a independent Africa state within multiple independent Africa states within the current existing borders. What is it?
C.
Which I think I heard of. I want to put out the person to put their hands up. What is it? C. Uhuru, correct. It is C. The people that took all the posters next week, they trying to take them all again. But it's C is exactly, but I want to get through one more question, if that's fine, then we're gonna go move forward. That's fine? Uhuru. The establishment of an all-African socialist government would advance the triumph of the international socialist revolutionary and the onward progress towards A, anarchy, B, Black supremacy, C, utopia, or D, communism. FoFeet.
Yes.
Communism. Uhuru. D.
Yeah.
We must have a total liberated and unified Africa. That's what we must ultimately fight for. Uhuru. Now, I want to turn it, I want to appreciate y'all for getting through the 14-point platform. And I want to pass it back to our host of the day, Kumba. Uhuru.
Fist up,
Fight back.
fist up,
Fight back.
one Africa,
One nation.
one nation. Uhuru. Now, you know, that's what it's always about, right? And this is 14 points elaborated there. So we do have some special guests that we have waiting in the queue. So once again, to go back, today's theme is Don't Agonize, Organize, Mobilize to DC for the Black People's March on the White House that is hosted by the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. And this, once again, is the 17th year of this under the leadership of Chairman Omali Yeshitela. And also the comrades who are on the platform today that will speak a little bit about it, hopefully get you energized and let you know some of the work that they've been doing with it, have been with the coalition since the very beginning. So let's give it up for these comrades for saying it's up to unification. Because, you know, one thing that this formation was formed, one reason that it was formed was to show that, yeah, Black is back on the level, but we can unify. And no matter what our ideology is, if we come together on principles of unity, we can work all of the stuff out. But if we got 19 points of principles of unity and we can work around them, let's get it done. And the coalition, once again, has been doing it for 17 years, and that's outstanding. So first up, we have Lisa Davis.
Uhuru!
Uhuru.
Black is back.
Black is back.
Fist up, fight back.
Okay, then. Right on. So we had a little time there, but yeah, we know the comrade is fired up. So this is the vice chair, the vice president, the vice chair of the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. So we're gonna give it up for her. And also we have Comrade Betty Davis, who is the chair of the working committee for education of the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice.
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
So a new abolitionist. So these comrade warrior women, sisters, African sisters, have been out there on the front line for years doing their thing. So right now we want to go ahead and roll right into this. Come again. So before we get into this dynamic presentation, couple of presentations, we're going to have a quick minute of culture. But after that culture, we're going to get right back to the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparation. Uhuru.
Uhuru comrades. I said Uhuru comrade.
Uhuru.
Hey. All right. I want to talk to you about unleash my tongue. Words hold the power that changes lives. Communication is necessary for existence. Unleash my tongue. Let peace be mine to speak, to teach, to rally forward. Words placed in prisons, in chains, placed on my mind and our future. Locked away ideas caught in my throat, choking the release of the future to my people's freedom. I will not be bound. You will not control the gift of words. Uhuru is freedom. Freedom is stuck on my mind, in our lives, in our hands, and in our reach. In the words from my belly to my tongue, I will not stop. I will not give up. I will not give in. Unleash my tongue. Into this mic I will speak. Release my revolutionary comrades. Unleash my tongue. Free speech is mine. Liberation is ours. This time until Uhuru is won. Long live Comrade Assata Shakur. Uhuru. This time until it's won. Uhuru.
Thank you, Comrade FoFeet, and it will be won, and we are winning. So we want to go ahead and have our comrade Lisa Davis to talk a little bit about the work of we call it the BIB or BIBC, the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. Remember, if you know that name, especially online. And just so you comrades know, we are global in our broadcast that's online virtually. So people around the world are either listening in to us right now or they will be in the future. But Comrade Lisa, the vice chair of the BIBC, Uhuru, give it up.
Uhuru, and thank you so much, comrades. First of all, I want to say I wish I could be two places at one time, because I really wish I was in St. Louis with you all or wherever you guys are, because I just really love and appreciate the work of the Uhuru movement. And certainly I want to give a shout out to all of my comrades, all of the organizations within the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations, because we are a coalition of organizations dedicated to the Black liberation struggle. And it is so important that we see this struggle, that we view this world through the lens of revolutionary Black leadership. The Black liberation struggle is the only thing that has ever advanced us in any way at all within the United States, the only thing, not the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party, or not any party for that matter, but it is us who had a vision and dedicated to our struggle. And we have to get that back. And one of the organizations for sure that has withstood the test of time and a proven track record in terms of an organization to follow is the Black is Back Coalition under the leadership of Omali, Yeshitela, and the Uhuru movement. And many of you do know that the African People's Socialist Party, I believe even InPDUM, and other aspects or organizations within the Uhuru movement were around much longer than the Black is Back Coalition. Those are just facts. But we got work to do. We got work to do. It is a serious day. As far as I'm concerned, this is our Underground Railroad moment. And even though things, I'm not going to lie, things are nerve-wracking, things are all kind of horrible things. And I also just got to give a shout out to Palestine, the Congo, and the Sudan, and all other areas that are fighting with everything in their life to overturn this horrible system of colonialism. But we got work to do, and we got to do it. We got to do it. So we are having our annual Black People's March on the White House, and we know this time we got it's like the same colonizer, but they look different. They got different styles. And this one is as deranged and as crazy and as unhinged as they come. But the other colonizers are not better. So our way to respond to this is with movement, with strength, and to come stronger. Our numbers should be blowing off the charts in terms of people joining the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations, which is a coalition of very revolutionary organizations. That should be what we should be doing. That should be what we are focused on, and building up this incredible network and showing up in force to Washington, D.C. on November 1st. And if you're not able to be there, although we encourage as many people to be there as possible, but some of y'all might be on the West Coast. If you could have demonstrations in solidarity with what we're doing in Washington, D.C. But we got to be there. We got to show up, and to show up with determination under a lens of revolution, the Black liberation struggle, which is why which is how the name of the Black is Back Coalition came into effect, to say that we are honoring this tradition of Black revolution. And my comrade, Sister Betty Davis, my wing person, I'm her wing person, she's my wing person. You see me, you see her. You mess with her, you mess with me. How does that saying go? But anyway, Sister Betty.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lisa. And I want to thank all of the members of the Black is Back Coalition, African People's Socialist Party, and InPDUM for the solidarity they show. Whenever one of us jumps into the front lines, they jump in it with us. And so that is why this March on Washington is so important this time. And I want to stress that we understand that distance makes a difference because of the issues around traveling. But if you cannot join us, then we want you to rubber stamp us by following up with an activity where you are. But above all, on the second day after the rallies, we need you to join the webinar. We need you to send the word out wherever you are. Have a webinar party in your community center or your backyard and invite the community to join us. The Black is Back Coalition is a coalition that has been together for over 17 years. We are the, how shall we say, the poster child for what unity looks like, what solidarity looks like. And I want to just use a term called affirmation. And if I can get it to work for me, I want to share something with you from Assata Shakur. I know most of you know that she says it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. But then she goes on to say, we must love and protect one another, we have nothing to lose but our chains. I also want to piggyback on the words of Chairman Omali Yeshitela. And I want to thank him for this concept of dual and contending powers. Wherever you are within the sound of my voice, I want you to go to the Black is Back Coalition or the African People's Socialist Party website and put in this phrase, dual and contending powers. Because from my point of view, and I don't claim to be a scholar in this area of expertise, the concept of dual and contending powers is the war we are waging now. Why do I say that? There is colonialism. There is neocolonialism. And what the chairman is trying to understand, help you understand, pardon me, is the same thing that Comrade Prime Minister Nkrumah tried to make us understand. When we fight back, it is a protracted struggle. They are not going to surrender. Because from their point of view, if they surrender, they have to give up total control of privileged economic privilege, capitalism. And so when our comrade and our Prime Minister Nkrumah says neocolonialism, what he is saying is capitalism just changed the name. They just put on some makeup. And what's the makeup? The makeup are these Black faces in high places. And so it is our duty to fight for our freedom. But let me add another warrior, Malcolm X, by any means necessary. And what I would put to you now is that the people who are in power, I will not call this a government because I do not accept their rule. And no one who looks like us should accept the rule of any colonialist in this country. Because to submit to this is to do what Henry Highland Garnett said is a sin. It's a sin to submit to slavery. And colonialism is slavery. I'll say it again. You do not have to submit to any government that says you are less than human. And colonialism treats us as if we are less than human. And this is what our beloved Nkrumah was trying to make us understand. And this is what Chairman Omali Yeshitela is saying to us today. And this is why. So I told you what, I told you who, I'm going to tell you why. This is why we're going to Washington, D.C. I know that you're not stupid. I know that you can connect the dots. Tell me you think it's an accident that where he sent the National Guard to so-called fight crime, which is really houselessness. People are on the street because the capitalists, corporate institutions, and corporations have taken their houses and they can no longer afford the rents. And so they are on the streets in the community that they love. Why should they give up their territory? Any more than the Mohawks did, any more than the Algonquins did, any more than the Cherokee did. They would not surrender their land to these people. And we should not surrender our land. And where is our land? Our land is the communities that we fought for 400 years to be in as civilized, humane people with the culture that came from the continent that produced us. And so for 17 years, we have been going when this country has what they call their elections. And we know it is not an election because they select who we have to elect. And if you can tell me the difference between a Democrat and a Republican, I'll pay your rent for a year.
One begins with the D and the other with an R. One begins
Right
with the
on,
D, the
Sister
other with an
Lisa.
R. So
Thank you,
I want my
Sister
rent
Lisa.
check, no?
Thank you, Sister Lisa. See, the Davises, we got this on lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying to you is, you know the deal. You know that our children are hungry. You know that people are losing their jobs. You know they're stealing the working class health plans. I paid for my health plan for over 40 years. And now this person in the White House with these fat ankles, this pedophile, has authorized the stealing of my health plan. What would I be if I submitted to that? It is my duty to fight against this. It is my duty to win. I can't do this by myself. I have been fighting for over 60 years. I thought when we fought in the 60s that we were on our way up that hill to freedom. Holy, I did not understand the treachery of the black middle class misleadership class. There was no way I could have envisioned this. I had read books about an Uncle Tom. And I know sometimes when captives, African captives were tortured, they told that there was going to be an uprising. The history of Nat Turner taught me this, but nobody prepared me for Obama except the African People's Socialist Party, except the Black is Back coalition. We were right. We were right. The Democratic Party was wrong. The Black people who vote for the Democratic Party are wrong. You cannot elect, you cannot continue to elect the ones they select. So when we go to Washington this time, it's a different situation. The conditions of our oppression have changed, and we need to know what we are doing. We have to understand that the powers of oppression within the colonial empire are rising up because they are afraid. Because all over the world, Africans and Asians and people who don't pray like us are saying enough is enough. And so that is why, even if you cannot join us on the bus to Washington, D.C., you must express some form of solidarity. Yes. You have to be able to say, I am not your nigger.
That's right. And because in fact, the people that I met in St. Louis, I first met them on the East Coast in Philadelphia. So if you all can I know that we got some strong comrades and they would go anywhere. I've seen them do it. So we surely want you all to also be there in person. If you have a van or a bus or something that you can collectively get together and come, that is so important. But as to echo what my comrade Sister Betty said, we got to build this movement. We've got to build this. It's on us. It's on us. When I think about all that we have come through, and one of the times that gives me the most encouragement is the times of what happened in terms of what led to at least our being physically dissolving of chattel slave, the physical dissolvement of it. And that is something that we have to be the ones to claim, not Lincoln, not this one, not that one, but African people determined to rise up and overthrow this system. They were having so many rebellions and uprisings even before that Civil War. They were having, in fact, the Civil War was really an uprising of enslaved Africans who said, we're not taking this anymore, and who forced the hand. They forced the hand. You know, they saw when you see two colonizers fighting, you're supposed to be able to step in there and to seize that opportunity and to take advantage of it and to make what happen that you want. And they settled for nothing, and they did it. But about 60 or 70 years before that, maybe 80 years before that, you had the Haitian Revolution. That was 1791 to the Civil War began in 1861. That's a person's lifetime. That is one person's lifetime in which Haitians rose up, Africans rose up in Haiti and overthrew that system of oppression in terms of enslavement. And then we had Africans over here inspired by that. What happened? Rise up and do the same thing or something very similar, but they could not live forever. They could not live forever. Our generation is supposed to bring it forward. It's supposed to move the needle forward. And I have just got to say this, that I know the generation, Sister Betty, and when I think of the generation of Malcolm and those who grew up around those times, they did tremendous things. And I'm just going to call it like it is. But the generation that I was born into, the boomer generation, dropped the ball big time. And we see the collective results of that. And we got to own that. We got to look at it and we got to change it. And we got to change, say, no, we don't want to do it that way. I believe people made honest mistakes, but still, they were horrible mistakes. You cannot get anywhere telling people to vote for evil, telling people to completely capitulate. And I know that voting is not the most revolutionary thing that one can do. Voting is very limited. But if you can't even do that correctly, if you can't even build a strong resistance to be able to go into that voting box and to be at least able to say, I will never vote for anybody that's going to be against my community, I will never capitulate, then you're not good for much. You're really not, because you're not going to be able to do anything else that is necessary. So we got to exercise our revolutionary muscle every chance we get. We can, even if it's little by little, but we got to exercise it. And I see that voting is one way to flex that revolutionary muscle and to psychologically and to let this system know, you're not taking advantage of my people. We are not going along to get along. We are not doing that, no matter what. So people come. We have always been our own liberators. And I got to get a copy of that video that was played with the chairman speaking. Y'all, if you know my email address, please send it to me, because I'm going to make sure that I make sure to spread that and that gets around, because we got to hear that. But we have always been our own liberators, and we got to do this. We got to do this, because I shudder to think about if things get worse over the next 20 years. That is really frightening if things get worse.
Well, I think it's only fair, Comrade Lisa, that we mention that the ICE marauders who are coming into Chicago, who are in Washington, D.C., who are planning to go to New Orleans. This is a standard strategy of the ruling class in this country. If you know Tulsa, then you know Rosewood. You know, whenever it seems like the Africans in this country are waking up and struggling and saying no to the false image of reality that this country is showing them, that's when they bring out the National Guard. And so the people in Washington, D.C. and the people in Chicago are saying no.
Mm-hmm.
We demand our unions. We demand housing. We demand decent health care. And we demand the right to think our own thoughts. We will not yield to the concept that there's such a thing as the thought control because we disagree with you. And so what does the ruling class in this country bring out to challenge us? They try to indict the Uhuru 3.
Mm-hmm.
They try to say they are agents. And what was the crime of Chairman Omali, Yeshitela and the Uhuru 3 for this philosophy of African liberation? The crime is to state clearly what are the crimes of this horrific ruling class. That is all they have done. They have discussed the reality of our existence in this country. And because we say the vote is meaningless because the ruling class selects who we elect, they say we are agents of Russia. And they say the people who validate our view of reality in the Uhuru movement are agents of Russia. The lie was so bad, even the judge could not fully validate the ruling class this time. But they are still facing charges. So this is not about law and order. This is about the denial of your human rights. And there are so many indicators that the chairman is correct when he talks about dual and contending powers. Why do you think there is such a thing as the school to prison pipeline? Chairman Omali made it clear it's just another form of birth control. Because the whole world is watching. They can't immediately put us in gas ovens, but they can put our men in prison at a higher rate than they were on the slave camps. So what does this mean to our population? They can give us an infant mortality rate that is higher than some third world countries. And when people like the wonderful Blueprint, Black Power Blueprint organization create a response, they accuse them of being agents and destroy the institutions or attempt to destroy the institutions that the people in St. Louis built. Now, this is proof to me that we are fighting the correct fight and that anybody who investigates this struggle will join us. And so that is why we are going to Washington, D.C. I'm not religious, but sometimes you have to call the devil a liar. And all of you who are religious and in Washington, D.C., I hope you will join us and call the ruling class devils the liars that they are.
Yes.
Uhuru.
Yes, Uhuru.
Yes, Uhuru.
Uhuru. Yeah, we're going to look, we can listen to these comrades all day, can't we?
That's right.
But unfortunately we can't, and we want to just give a special shout out to one of our guests who come in today for the Sunday rally. So we appreciate you for showing up and taking this time out, and we hopefully you learn. But I did want to just so everybody can know a little bit, and I know my comrades, they already know about this brochure here, but this brochure is the Black Self-Determination. It talks about the convention, but this is the National Black Political Agenda for Self-Determination that the Black is Back Coalition had put together. I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to read maybe just the declaration statement and then just highlight some of the 19 points. So a critical, and this was once again 17 years ago, and as you listen to this, you can say that it's still relevant to this day. So a critical moment in our history is upon us. In addition to the traditional centuries-long destitution and political repression that has characterized our experience and distorted virtually all our intra-communal relationships within the U.S., there is now an escalation of police and other white violence directed at our people that demands a coherent response. And this is quite evident in what we're seeing today, especially with ICE and other federal agencies that are out there, and they're really attacking our people. And we will have some discussion. So in case the audience members or if anyone online wants to have ask any questions to our comrades that are virtually with us, we have about maybe 5 minutes to discuss with that. But I do want to just mention a couple of the points, not to read them all. First point centers around African women, Black women. Second point, the Black family. Third point, Black community control of the police. Fourth point, free all political prisoners. Fifth point, roll back and end mass Black incarceration. Number 6, reparations. Number 7, self-defense. Number 8, nationalize the banks and end forever the rule of capital. Number 9, full employment and national minimum wage income. Number 10, right to housing. Number 11, halt gentrification. Number 12, Black businesses must be nurtured. Number 13, right to free education through postgraduate level. Number 14, free universal quality health care for all. Number 15, voting rights, period. Number 16, U.S. out of Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Number 17, Uhuru. Number 17, the West must pay its debt to Africa and its descendants. Number 18, free Palestine, down with Israel apartheid. And number 19, but not least, climate change and toxic pollution created by capitalism must end. So these are some magnificent points. This coalition put these points together 17 years ago, and they are still standing and abiding. And I want to salute the comrades here who have been in with this from the very beginning, who helped make these points a manifestation.
And we salute you in the room.
The Davis sisters, as they are. So, comrades, we want to have a little discussion. And of course, if comrades need to tell us how mobilization is, because we'll talk about a little our mobilization efforts here. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to stay on the platform with us until then. But if we don't have any questions, you can tell us a little bit about how the mobilization efforts are going up there in the Northeast and getting people on the bus to DC. Are there any questions here virtually? I mean, in the auditorium and or virtually, or comments? Okay. So if not, then because I guess comrades, sisters, Davis, is everybody here in the auditorium know that y'all on point and know you're right. So they can't judge, they can't say nothing about it. They got to unite. So we know we'll see them here, see them there in DC. So that's a good thing. But for those of you online, this is a magnificent opportunity for you to see this information and to hear from such a dynamic representation of the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. So, Comrade Lisa Davis, I begin with you, and we got about 5 minutes and we can do this. But if you could tell us, what are your mobilization efforts looking like there in the Northeast area?
We got a bus picking up in New York and Jersey. Yes, it's going to be picking up in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and New Jersey. I'm going to give people a number they can call, although we will be posting information as well about where they can go. I'm always forgetting this number, so y'all please bear with me a moment. But I'm gonna hold on 1 second, please.
All right.
Yeah, the number that they can call is 973-929-1933. And we also have websites that people can go to get their tickets. But if they call that number, we can let them know, and we're going to be posting those websites too, because it's not like one central website that we have for the New York, New Jersey, and the Brooklyn area. But we're going to be posting that and sending that around, and we are mobilizing and organizing people. We're going to fill that bus, and we're going to be inspiring more people to come to get there. And expect, if you're in the Northeast, ain't no excuses. You gotta be there. You gotta be there. And it's going to be very dynamic. I will say we know a lot more people are waking up, but still everybody needs direction and the lens that people should be viewing this world through, because it helps us to interpret what the hell is going on and gives us like a GPS system to move through it. And that is African internationalism, or within the Black is Back Coalition, which is very much influenced. Of course, we influence each other. The work of all the various organizations within the coalition influence each other, but certainly the influence of the leadership of the Uhuru movement is certainly there. And I'll just say one thing I want to just conclude with the moment to show people the power of a strong internal dialogue. When Sister Betty mentioned how they came after the Uhuru 3, they wanted to put him in prison for 10 to 15 years. They were serious about that. And these were the Democrats, by the way. But yet they could get no one to break. They put up $10 million to prosecute this case. And you know what they do when they do that? They go on up to our community, they bribe people, they threaten them, they try to just get them to lie and say all these kind of things. And I'll be very honest with you, that's what I thought was going to happen. I said, oh, somebody's going to probably get up there and say something. They could get no one. And I know they went after people. I know they went after people too within the Uhuru movement. I know some I know at least one they locked up. One was facing all kinds of other charges, had been involved with the movement, but none of them broke. That is so powerful. That is an example of the power of a strong political ideology. Instead of this, we want to sit at their table. I don't want to sit nowhere near their table. I don't want to sit in the same room with them.
The Uhuru, that's right. I mean, the truth smashes down the lines. Like you said, they couldn't touch this. So, Comrade Betty Davis, how is some of the mobilization going on in that area, New York, and to kind of piggyback and follow up suit with Lisa Davis?
I want to salute the people of St. Louis for your struggles after the horrific climate catastrophe, which is caused by global warming, which is caused by the super rich. The way you fought back, and you are literally pulling yourself up, not by just bootstraps, but by every bit of strength in your philosophy. I know if you did not have the correct political philosophy, you could not have endured and continued the way you did. And I say Uhuru and I salute you. In the Republic of Brooklyn, we are fighting a horrific war. They call it deed theft. We call it what it has always been since we liberated ourselves from chattel slavery and got our first 40 acres and a mule in the form of land. They have taken and stolen hundreds of deeds, my brother. They literally walk in to the Department of Buildings office, erase the name that's there, put the name of whatever corporate head is in charge, and steal hundreds of deeds. And we have a Black district attorney who is not prosecuting them. And so the people in the Republic of Brooklyn have organized to hold her to account, to demand that she start prosecuting these thieves of our intergenerational wealth. And so at their last meeting last evening, I passed out brochures telling them about the March on Washington. And many of them have agreed that they're going to hope to get on the bus. They want to put their pennies together and get on the bus and join us in Washington, D.C. And I sincerely hope that I will be able to introduce them to at least one or two comrades from St. Louis. Uhuru.
Appreciate that one. So you see this organization, BIBC, is, it's not about sitting on its laurels. It's about standing up. Yeah, you understand? So, comrades, if y'all can stay tight with us, that's good. We understand that your time is precious and this is virtual, but that's good. But we wanted to go ahead and if there's no other questions, from the audience here, we really appreciate everything that you told us, your inspiration, your work throughout the years with your respective individual organizations, and also with the work that you did with or that you are doing with the BIBC. So really want to salute these comrades, and let's give it up for them one more time. Really appreciate them taking their time out and being here with us today. Okay, so right now we're going to have a local update or so in terms of what activity that we got going on, trying to put people on the bus. And after that, we will be going into the call for membership and announcements and resources. So we'll have our comrade fill in for who would have been here today, just to give us a brief, where are we now with getting St. Louis and East St. Louis forces there to DC. Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Uhuru, comrades.
Uhuru.
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 We are going to DC. We have a bus and we're looking for you to fill a seat. The bus will be leaving on October 31st. We will be there from the 31st to the 3rd of November. Transportation only round trip is $177. $177 get you a seat on that bus there and on the bus back. The hotel will be for 2 nights. It is $184 per night, including tax, and is sharing a room with 2 to 4 people. That's for 2 nights. You can enjoy yourself while you're there. At least get some rest, okay? Because we're going there to work. We're going there to win. We're going there for revolution, and we're doing it in DC. We leave Friday on the 31st at 10 o'clock in the morning. We return to St. Louis on Monday morning, November the 3rd, early in the morning. You can make your payments for the hotel. Must be due by Monday, October the 20th. And transportation must be due on October 25th. You can call this number at 314-380-8016. Or if you got my number, you can talk to me. Okay, comrades, we got 12 seats that we need to fill. And if you already got one, I'm not going to take one from you. Come on, sign up. Let's go. Uhuru.
And
I said Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Get on. Get on.
And the first time I met Sister FoFeet was in Philadelphia. I done seen her all over the place. Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And the first time I met her, a whole gang of people, in fact, it was around the time when that horrible tragedy happened with Mike Brown. But they were so determined, and it's so good to see her still here and doing the work. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Yeah, we want to appreciate that. So all hands on deck. And so you can see that at least nationally, our forces are organizing to make this event happen. Okay. So we want to really appreciate that. And in terms of moving with our program and the agenda, we're going to go ahead and move the program to a call for membership and resources. Might as well stay up here.
Right. I have to step away a moment.
Yeah, please do. And we're doing that locally. So we got Comrade FoFeet coming right back on up to go ahead and do that. We're talking about call for membership and resources. Uhuru. Uhuru.
Okay. No, it's been a while since you've seen me. But guess what? This organization continues, whether FoFeet is up here, Sophia's up here, whoever's up here, this organization continues. And right now we want to add your name to the membership. Okay? Membership is most important to growing liberation, because one finger, when you hit somebody with one finger, you'll hurt yourself. When you hit them with a fist, you may hurt yourself, but I bet you they feel it. So the unity of an organization is by its members. And the International People Democratic Uhuru Movement is looking for you to be another finger on that fist so we can pack a punch, okay? And also, resources is how we do what we do. It is how we get to where we want to go. Our goal today is $100, okay? And you can do it by, if you got $100 and you want to put it in, hold your finger up, your finger or your fist. But either way, if you got $100, we'll take it and we'll move on. But if you don't, who's got a $25 donation for today's $100 goal? $10.
Put me down for 10.
You can go online.
Yeah, I'll do 10.
I'll do 10 as well.
Right.
You comrades, I'll do 10.
Yeah, put me down.
Okay. If you want, okay, 25, Comrade Uhuru. You
Is
can
the link in the chat?
Yes, it's in the chat.
Put it on the screen.
Put it on the screen, Kabula.
Okay.
Uhuru, you can go to Cash App, $InPDUM and /donate to donate online. In Cash App, yeah. Or you can go to InPDUM, InPDUM.com/ Oh, sorry, .org, not com. InPDUM.org/donate if you want to use your credit card online. Or if you got Cash App, like I said, it's $ InPDUM, and you will see IEC. That's us. So you can go one or two places. And you know what? We still take cash. We take cash. I can't say checks, but if you got a check, you can mail it or money order. But we have a $100 goal, and there's nothing to say we can't go over that. All right. So is there anybody in here that is not already a member? Look like the house is full. Okay, you online, guess what? You can become a member also by going to InPDUM, InPDUM.org/join today. And you can become a member at the basic level of $25 a year. Basic level is $25 a year. And with that membership, you have the same rights and privileges as anybody at any membership level. We have a Assata, Musa Bantu level, which is $10 a year. That is a student and unemployment member level. That is $10 a year. Now, that gives you the same privileges as anyone else that come into the membership. Your ideas, your energy, whatever you do is one fight against liberation. It's for liberation against colonialism. We need fighters. We need fighters. We need fighters. You can be a monetary member or you can be an action member, but but you cannot be a member if you don't put some action into it. That's either the resources or the energy. Now, with that being said, we need you all. We need you all. And this is a voluntary organization, which means the more time you can give, the more fight back we can have. If you got 5 hours a week, we'll take it. If you got 2 hours a week, we'll take that. But do something. Don't complain. Do something. Okay? We need to free this world for our children. We need to free this world for ourselves. We need to free this world, period. Uhuru, comrades, and I will come back and let you know if we covered our resources. Thank you.
May I just say something real quickly? Because when you become a member, when you plug into the Uhuru movement, there are so many things that you get that you can't even put a price on it or really quantify it, because you are plugging into a network where if you need somebody, trust me, you got people you can call. I've been able to call people from anywhere that we got people. I've been able to call them. I really have been able to do that. And we need to be plugged into each other. We need networks as we move through this country, as we move through this, we need to be plugged into each other, and they need to know we're plugging into each other. They need to know that. So I just want to say that. And membership for the InPDUM, the Black is Back Coalition, the African People's Socialist Party, should be just going off the hook during these times especially, but always. We need to be plugged into each other. And lastly, I'll just say this, and then you guys, the floor is yours, but this is something that stayed in my head when I was reading the narrative of Frederick Douglass. And he talked about, went into detail about what that was like to be enslaved and how we worked from sun up to sundown and beyond. Our time was not our own. They worked us until we dropped every minute of the day. So if we were able to do all of that under the lash of a whip to build up this colonialist oppressive system, then who are we that we can't do and give time to the Black liberation struggle for our own liberation and freedom? We got to look at how we look at this thing called time. Give an hour, 2 hours, a month, a day, whatever we can do. We should be willing to do that, considering all that our ancestors did against their will under the whip for the white man. So just had to say that. But Uhuru, comrades, and thank you so much.
Uhuru, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we want to appreciate that. And we are nearing the end of our Sunday rally that are brought to you by the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement here in the city of St. Louis, 4101 West Florissant on the corner of West Florissant and Alice.
I need that InPDUM link again because it's not going through for
donating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Put that link up for Comrade again, please. So as that link is coming up, we're going to continue to say that yes, we're nearing the end of the program. Can we have a Cash App link for our comrade to donate to C so she can donate her resources to the movement? But anyway, there you go, Comrade Betty. Do you see it now? You got those two.
Oh, it's a $. Okay.
Yes, a $sign for the Cash App, or you go feed them.
Okie doke.
Thank you. I appreciate you very kindly.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be here next week, or we're weekly, Sundays, 3 to 5 p.m. And we're right here on the corner of West Florissant and Alice. But before we end for today, and we wish our comrades was here to enjoy some great Karamu with us. We're going to have the announcements, and then after announcements, then Karamu, and then we'll see you next time. But comrades, Sophia, please come up and go ahead and close this up now.
Hello, everyone. So I'll be going over the announcements today. The first one is going to be on October 16th. Oh, yeah. Okay, Ciali is going to come up and give you information about the Uhuru Foods and Pie.
I promise to be quick.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So as you can see, we want people to come Thursday, October 16th at 5:30 p.m. right here at the Quabbin Hall, 4101 West Florissant Avenue. And also you can pre-order your pies, and you can go to uhurupies.org and pre-order your pies. We're also looking for volunteers to staff pop-ups that we'll be organizing and bakes. And also encourage your friends, family members, co-workers to order some pies. Next slide. Okay, so we want people to get ready for the holiday pie campaign and help to move into the bakery. Right now, we got all of our equipment at the Centenary Church kitchen. So we want to get that pie equipment into the bakery. That's going to be happening Wednesday, October 22nd from 1 to 5 p.m. Again, help load at Centenary Church downtown so that we can get all of our equipment into Uhuru Bakery Cafe. And next slide. And we're looking for volunteers who can help paint the murals on the bakery. And that's going to be happening Saturday, October 25th at 9 a.m. Again, that's 3719 West Florissant, or I can even make it more simple, John Avenue and West Florissant. So you can't miss the building. So these are the announcements that we have. And just real quick, speaking about dual and contending power, this is one of those institutions that really echoes dual and contending power. Uhuru.
Okay, and so the rest of our announcements are going to be, our first one is going to be Hasta la Victoria Siempre launched the Hands Off Uhuru Latin American Front on October 18th, 2025. That's 2025 at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. You can register at handsoffahuru.org/Latin America to get more information about that and to get registered for that. White Solidarity with Black Power is the African People's Solidarity Committee, which presents it. nearly half a century of white solidarity with Black power. That's going to be on October 29th at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Central. You can do that online or in person. You can do it in person here in St. Louis on 2654 Gravois. And then if you want to visit online, if you're able to do it online, it's apsc.uhuru.org/register. So make sure you get registered for that. Support our comrades that have been helping us out since for many, many years here. Since 76. So yeah, almost 30.
A long time.
Yeah, a long time. Then we want you to support our sister FoFeet and her poetry open mics. She will be at Legacy Bar at 5249 Delmar Boulevard in St. Louis. This week she'll be spotlighting Floyd Boykins. So come out, meet Floyd Boykins. You can hear about him. And I'm sure it's going to be where it's open mic. So if you have something that you want to say as well, just come on and grace the mic with your presence. But there'll be an interview with Boykins that you'll be able to see online, but then you won't be able to see the rest of the performances. So in order to be there and hear all the stuff that's going to be happening, you have to be in the house. So you can register at FoFeet 1024 eventbrite.com. So go to Eventbrite. If you just want to go to Eventbrite, look up FoFeet. And the entry fee is $10 pre-register. Get your $10 ticket to get in the building. Next up, we have Get Your Burning Spear newspaper. That's one of the economic development portions of the Uhuru movement. We want everybody to have the burning spear in their hand so they can understand what's going on in the world around them as it relates to Black power and just all of the stuff that we're doing, as well as the things that are happening throughout the world. So you can get your Burning Spear newspaper at theburningspear.com/subscribe. You can get a bundle, sell them, they're $1 each. But if you just want to kind of see what it's like for yourself, go ahead and get your own personal subscription where you can get one. You get your subscription, you can either do it online or get it mailed to you. So just go online and get that done. Next up, we have help to build the community rallies. We need all hands on deck to help do all of the things that are needed to get the movement out there into the communities. So we need people to help organize the Caramoo so that when we do come together, we can fellowship, and then, you know, nobody has to worry about leaving here, going home and cooking and doing all that other stuff. So whatever you're able to do, if you want to be a part of the AV team, we do have people that'll train you to do that type of stuff. Or if you have experience on doing that and you want to help improve it, if you see things that you have comments on and you want to improve it, we invite you out to come and learn about that, or to put your hands on, participate in those things, distribute leaflets and flyers. We'll be going out and distributing information about the One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market, as well as trying to get people out to the Black is Back and a lot of other things that we do. So if you have areas that you want to suggest that of a group of people that would be interested and you want to get that information to them, we invite you for that as well. For security, while we're in the building or anything that we do, we would like to be safe as we're doing it. So if you're interested in doing that as well, we invite you for that. We do have sign up at the back of the back table back there as well, if you are interested in any of those areas to learn about or do any of those. Okay, and then we have our final market of the season for the One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market. That's going to be on October 25th. Right, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is usually our biggest market where we have a lot of activities for the kids. We have giveaways. We already started getting donations in of movie tickets and different things like that. So come on out and win your door prizes or your prizes for different games that we'll have set up for you, the different activities and entertainment. If you're interested in being on the program, you can let me know at the end of the, while we're having Caramoo, and we can discuss possibly getting you on there. But we'll have kid games, treats, food, culture. There'll be a costume contest and prizes. You can also go to stlouis.manager@oneafricamarket.com, or you can dial 314-380 8014 to get more information. We are looking for candy donations. So if do I have anybody in the audience here who will be able to donate candy for our giveaways? I got Camille, I got FoFeet, and Westbrook so far. So I'll make sure we get your names down. And if next week you decide you want to be able to donate, or check with local areas, like if you know stores in your area, gas stations, places you frequent, let them know that we're doing that. And we do have our 501c3. If they need that letter, let us know. We can get that information to them. And just help us out with getting donations so that this could be, and then spread the word. We also have flyers in the back as well as posters. Do I have anybody who is able to put up posters or drop flyers at any places? Any areas, especially around here. So bus stops within this area, up, down Grand, West Florissant, and in the neighborhoods. Do I have anybody who's able to drop flyers or posters? Okay, I got James, FoFeet, Westbrook. Okay, cool. Kwame Kindred will be performing with us on October 25th as well. So you want to make sure you come out and check his brother out. He's pretty good from what I hear from the previous ones. Sequoia will be face painting with the children this year. And he did a really good job when we had September 20th. He had the kids, some of them had the Halloween thing. We had some tribal paints. We had some, what is it? The moon, sun, and star. What does your son have? Oh, you missed it. I got to get that for you. But yeah, he's a very good artist. He also has other things around town. So you want to check him out, come out, find more out about him. And that'll be here, right around our garden here at 4101 West Florissant, just across the street where the Gary Brooks garden is. And we also have t-shirts in the back as well. If you want a comrade t-shirt, if you just want to show your support, we got comrade t-shirts. We got the One Africa, One Nation orange t-shirts. We have t-shirts with the Omali Yeshitela girls on it. So you got, if you want a picture of him on there. And then we also have our annual t-shirts. They're only $15. So stop back by. We have the t-shirts in the back. If you have certain designs that you want on a t-shirt and you may want a different color or something like that, we may be able to get those printed up for you as well. And we have a lot of blank t-shirts that we also need to get out. So let us know. We can get those custom made for you. Oh, and InPDUM has their t-shirts back there as well from the convention. So we do have the convention t-shirts back there. They're $25 in the back. So those are available as well. Nice gray with various pictures throughout. So those t-shirts are in the back as well, individually wrapped and all. So come on back and check out the t-shirts. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything on our announcements. We talked about the Black is Back Coalition. And then you want to make sure you visit us. Okay. So the Black is Back, that's what we had our discussion about today. Saturday, the rally begins November 1st at 11 a.m. So you want to make sure, if you're not able to attend in person, register at blackisbackcoalition.org. And you should receive a link on when that's live so you can watch that throughout, be able to comment as they're going through the program, and just watch everything live. The only thing you're going to miss out on the march and all of the camaraderie and all of that that's out there if you're not able to make it. Housing and hotel will be at Hotel Arboretum at 1917 Blattensburg in Washington, D.C. 20002. So go ahead and get registered for that. If you want more information, give us a call at 314-669-6480. 314-669-6480. And then the last thing that we'll go over is our RNDP studies, which are at 7 p.m. Eastern or Central Time. 7 p.m. You can go to tinyurl.com/RNDP studies, or you can watch us on Facebook at facebook.com/InPDUM. You want to be able to get in on that conversation. If any of the things that we talk about here may not, if you have questions about any of the things or concepts that are talked about here, that's where you can get your questions answered. And you can go further into understanding the whole movement, what we've been doing. They cover history. They go over a lot of different things. They have topics related to the Uhuru movement so you can get that better understanding, a deeper understanding, and then also understand how you can be a part of that. So we ask that you come in on those studies with your questions, come in with your notes. Usually they'll send out a link to you with the material that will be covered for that day. So you'll have the material there to read through even after the study, so you can better understand that. So we just ask that you come out to that. And that is online, again, 7:30 on Thursdays at Central Time. And so Caramel time. Today we are having tacos. Everybody's favorite. I know it's not Tuesday, but it's still taco day. So all of the fixings and the stuff for the tacos will be in the back. We thank you for that. Everybody who's donated for this week, we thank you. I'll be reaching out to you for next week on what we'll be doing for Caramel for next week to see who's able to pitch in for that. Chili? Yes, Westbrook said he'll bring chicken for next week, so maybe we'll have chicken and pasta again. I know y'all probably getting tired of pasta, but that's like quick and but outside of that, that's concludes my portion of this Sunday rally. I'll bring Westbrook up to close us out.
Fist up. Fist up. Uhuru. Okay, first we wanna give a total on y'all participation today. So we got $78. Who? 22. We need $22 more. Do you think we can raise $22 more so we can reach our goal? I think we can. So we got FoFeet, she leading the way. So she got 10 on that. So that'll leave us $12 more. Huh? So I got one of our solidarity comrades. She said she got 6. So she got the other 6. So thank you. We raised our $100 goal for the day. So come on, give a round of applause for yourselves. Because we know with our economics, it's very hard to give a fight back. So we want to thank y'all for showing up and showing out like y'all usually do. And see you same place, same time next week, right?